It's really nice to see you back here at the Water and Communications program that's made possible by the sponsorship of the Grundfos Foundation. I do hope that you have had a lovely and productive time since we last met. And if there are anyone that's new to the program, my name is Jögel Espelund and I will be your host. Today we will focus on World Water Week, and I hope this session will prepare you for an interesting, creative, fun and constructive week in Stockholm or online. But first, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Polina Koroleva, Digital Community of Practice Coordinator at UNEP Digital Transformations. As some of you might recall, the AI workshop that was planned for June had to be postponed. So it's really a great pleasure to have Polina here with us today. And she's going to talk about how artificial intelligence is helping tackle environmental challenges. Over to you, Polina. Thank you.
Okay, today I'm going to talk about sculpting a greener future and the advantage of AI. My name is Polina Koroleva. I'm a digital community of practice coordinator at the Office of the Chief Digital Officer at UNEP. And I'm also a coordinator at Coalition for Digital Environmental Sustainability Codes. And today I will be covering 4 points. I will be talking about digital and sustainability transitions, the role of data and AI, UNEP's Weather, World Environmental Situation Room, and AI and environmental challenges, different use cases, how AI can be used to tackle environmental challenges. And here on the right, you can see a picture generated by E. DALL-E is a generative AI tool to visualize text prompts. And I asked it to create a picture AI helping the planet. And that's the result that I got. And today I want to show you what AI can offer, that AI can offer solutions to a variety of environmental challenges. And I will be mostly focusing on the opportunities, but I want to mention that it's obviously very important to be mindful about the risks and the limits of AI. I won't cover them today in the presentation, but it's a very big topic in itself as well. So, okay. We are living at a pivotal moment in time when 2 of the greatest transformations in human history are underway. The first one is the digital transformation, and the second one is sustainability transformation. The digital transformation is global at nature. It disrupts all sectors one could think of. It affects geopolitics. It is affected by geopolitics. And the sustainability transformation that is happening simultaneously is obviously the environmental degradation, but it also affects economic and social parts of our life, and it's also inevitable. And our greatest challenge is connecting these 2 transformations into a twin transition. And data underpins effective action, progress monitoring, and risk forecasting for environment, for the environment. At UNEP, we work to tackle the triple environmental crisis. The first one is stability. Second one is living in harmony with nature. And the third one is a pollution-free planet. So the focus is on solving 3 of these crises. But there is a 4th crisis. There is also a data crisis. That we collect data every day, every minute from each of us is producing the data by using our cell phones, by taking a taxi, by buying something, and the data is produced every second. But the environmental data is not flowing in our digital economy. So the environmental data that we also can measure, it's not connected to the to our economy and the way we operate, the way we behave. And so this data is not used to drive sustainable production, consumption, finance, and regulation. And it's a big problem because we all exist in this world that is interconnected, but environmental data is not connected to our operations. And the effects are causing us all. For example, with climate change, by 2050, it could cause a 10% reduction in global economic value, disproportionately impacting poorer countries, especially warmer regions and island states. The same goes for biodiversity degradation, that research predicts that the partial collapse of ecosystems would cost up to 10% of GDP by 2030 already for some of the world's poorest countries again, and the impact will be higher. And pollution as well, the annual global welfare cost associated with premature deaths from outdoor air pollution is projected to rise and reach up to 25 trillion USD by 2060. So it's not just about environment per se. The environment is very tight. It's very connected with other spheres of our life, social and economic. And what is important to where AI comes in place, that AI-enabled digital technologies can breach and capture natural value and the value of nature and provide real-time feedback on the health of the planet. And by capturing the information about the state of environment and feeding it in the other parts and systems of our life, we can make a timely and data-based decisions that can help tackle the environmental crises. So our aim is to harness the power of the data and digital transformation to enable environmental solutions while also addressing environmental risks from digitalization. And this is something that I mentioned before, that we should simultaneously think about how digital solutions can help environment and how can they be used to solve environmental problems. But also we have to keep in mind that digitalization itself and different digital tools do have environmental impact, and it's our responsibility to mitigate it and ensure that the technologies are environmentally friendly. And in order to, when we talk about AI and AI tools and systems, the quality of AI mechanisms are very strongly connected to the quality of the data. With bad data, the AI tools are useless. They will provide wrong results, biased results. Therefore, it is very important that before even starting talking about AI itself, talk about the data and what problems should be addressed in order to have good quality data. So the first problem is data collection. The data that is collected should be relevant, and it should be collected to the right time, scale, and format. The connection. We are not living in a vacuum. Environment is not a part of a vacuum. It is connected with social and economic data, and it's important to look at the system as a complex system and how different data from different spheres of life interconnects with each other. The third one is conversion. When data itself doesn't have any use unless it's converted to knowledge and action by all stakeholders. And this step is crucial. How do we use the data? Credibility. The data should come from trusted data sources and methods, and it should be transparent to ensure that we can trust the data. And the fifth one is cost. The cost can be high. The cost of data collection can be high, and we need to ensure that the poorest, the countries that are poor and that don't have financial means to collect data, we can support them, and the relevant data is collected across different parts of the world, and not only in the parts where governments can afford to collect it. And going next to the AI itself, in this presentation, I'm going to use the AI as defined by UNESCO recommendation of the ethics of artificial intelligence that states that AI systems are information processing technologies that integrate models and algorithms that produce a capacity to learn and to perform cognitive tasks, leading to outcomes such as prediction and decision-making in material and virtual environments. This might sound very abstract. That's why I decided to show the examples what AI is and where it can be used to better understand its purpose. So what exactly does AI mean? AI has different technology types and different tools. You can see them on the diagram. One of them is machine learning. Machine learning is used for predictions and decisions, making predictions and making decisions without explicit programming. It can be clusterization, it can be use of data to classify and predict future outcomes. The second one is natural language processing that works with the text. These applications interpret, recognize, and generate human language in the way that is both meaningful and useful. There are also expert systems that includes applications that are designed to provide solutions in specific domains. Computer visions that are used for image recognitions, speech generation that also helps to transform speech to text and text to speech, planning and robotics. And there is also generative AI that is part of deep learning, the one on top. But generative AI is AI that used to generate new content, and that also could be used for language processing to create new text, to create new images. So it is like overarching technology for the different types of AI. And I'd also like to talk about AI in the context of UNEP. We recently formed the AI working group that was brainstorming on what types of thematic categories are used in UNEP, where AI is used, for what purposes AI can be used in UNEP contexts. The first one is generation and dissemination of science policy knowledge. Then it is technical support, capacity building, and advisory services. It's also multi-stakeholder advocacy and outreach. And it is intergovernmental and interagency processes. So the different AI types of tools that I showed on the previous slide, they can be used for these different types of needs that we outlined within UNEP. And there is also different types of data that can be used. AI-enabled sustainability apps. One of them is data to act and respond. The purpose of this type of data is to set goals. I'm sorry, maybe someone can mute themselves because I get the notifications. Thank you. Yeah, so it's setting goals and scaling solutions. The use cases for this type of data is national plans crisis response. So this data is used for action. The second type of data is data to access and monitor. The purpose of it is to monitor different goals and assess progress. The example could be SDGs progress monitoring, national policy goals monitoring. And the third type of data is data to predict and forecast. This one is clear from the title, is used for forecasting purposes, for foresight, for predictive analytics. So when we talk about data, it's easy to put it in these three types of data framework. And another challenge that we have is scale and flow of environmental data, because there is national data and global data. National data that comes from different ministry surveys, citizen science, and it's relevant on a certain level, on the national level, but it might not be relevant to other countries because it can be country specific. On that, that to everyone, but it's not granular enough to provide enough information, enough detailed information to make decisions on a local level. And it is very important to set up a system where global data can be downscaled and used by national government, and national data can be aggregated and can be exchanged, and it would be interoperable, and there would be certain data standards in place that will allow different systems to talk to each other. So these two levels of data, they do exist, but the challenge is to connect them, so to make them use of data on different, make the data useful on different levels. And the data alone is not enough. We need a virtual mission control center for planet Earth. And UNEP is working on the World Environmental Situation Room. It is a data-driven platform with AI at its core. And it will focus on supporting solution-oriented use cases. So currently, we are developing this platform, and we want to make sure that it doesn't just aggregate all types of environmental data, but it serves its purpose for particular use cases and particular user. One of the examples of such use case, and also AI-empowered use case, is International Methane Emissions Observatory, IMEO. It interconnects better data with targeted action. So what it does, it provides open, reliable public data on methane emissions. And this data is then made available to stakeholders with the authority to reduce emissions. And the sources for this data are various. It includes scientific studies, satellites, industry reporting, and national inventories. And then machine learning is used to automatically detect emission sources based on satellite imagery and to detect anomalies and issue alerts. So it is a complex system that includes data collection, data analysis, but also it provides actionable data to those that can act to reduce methane emissions. Also, IMEO contributes to Mars. Mars is methane alert and response system. It is the first global system leveraging satellite observation, and it provides rapid, actionable, transparent methane emission data and supports mitigation efforts. So it identifies major methane emissions events using satellite data, as I said before, and it notifies relevant stakeholders and tracks and supports progress in mitigation efforts. And you can see on the left side of the picture that it uses satellite images. Then the machine learning CNN algorithm is applied. Then the result is validated by remote sensing expert team. And then by using reinforcement learning, we receive the results. What kind of by using reinforcement learning, the model improves itself and can detect the emissions, methane emissions better. And it gets more and more, predictions get better and better in time. And future AI applications for methane emissions observatory, automated facilities detection, from attribution and anomalies detection. This is still under development, but that's what the team is planning. These technologies, the team is planning to use the AI technologies. One more AI application for the environment is Environment GPT. It's application of large language models for the environment. The law is the same, but the key difference between the average, the regular ChatGPT is that this model will be trained on authoritative data sources that are validated by UNEP, that will ensure integrity, quality, and trust. And this is a big part of ChatGPT that is trained on data from across the internet. And in this case, we want to ensure that the information from reports and other resources available at UNEP and validated by UNEP can be accessed quickly, analyzed quickly using this AI technology. And to finish my presentation, I want to show you 4 more use cases of AI that we use at UNEP, and different teams are working on these programs. The first one is SDG 661. These are all available online. You can look at them up. It uses machine learning to identify areas of surface water from satellite imagery at a global level. And it produces an annual data set of surface water extent as a formal, and it's used as a formal reporting indicator for Sustainable Development Goal 661. And then there is Areas platform that uses AI to pair ecosystem service models with spatial data and economic data in order to quantify system service flow. And then there is a countermeasures use case that works with the communities along Mekong and Gang rivers to map where and how plastic waste is entering the waterways. And the last one is Informia. This is a natural language processing tool that determines what kind of data can be pulled out of national reports to different multilateral environmental agreements to assess SDG progress. There are more solutions to come, but these are the ones that are up and running. You can check them online. And thank you very much for your attention. Here are some websites that you might like to explore. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Polina. You were mentioning that you had some of the programs online that we could explore. Do you mind if you could just perhaps share that in the chat box with everyone?
Yeah, I will put them in the chat, sure.
That would be great. And is there anyone who's got a question for Polina at this point? Cecile has one here for you. How do you see AI applied to water governance?
Yeah, as I mentioned, thank you for the question. As I mentioned in the last slide, one of the applications for water management is this SDG 661. But it helps to analyze the water quality using satellite data. I think this is already an application that is used for decision making regarding water, because you get the timely information. And now the question is how this information is used. That's where AI might not be the most important tool. The most important tool is political will to use this data for political decisions, right? I know that colleagues, I'm not a water expert. That's why I don't want to, talk about a subject that is outside of my expertise. But I will share the link in the chat, and the team that is working on that tool probably will be open to discuss this question with you. And I think I'm pretty sure they have ideas in mind how AI can be used for water-related or for other water-related issues.
Thank you, Polina. Totally understandable. We have one question from Vicky. We have a question saying, like, will data privacy laws affect access to information?
Thank you, Vicky, for the question. There are a lot of discussions right now about AI governance in general, right? And I guess this question is related, because when we talk about AI governance, we first of all talk, where does the data come from, and does it affect data? How does it work, and how is it interconnected with data privacy laws? These are ongoing discussions. There are some drafted policies within the US and within the European Union and also in China going on, where they are trying to establish framework how AI could be governed. And one of the approach to that is to develop a system that looks at the potential danger of AI system, similarly maybe to how medical devices are used, right? If the potential effect of the AI system on the society will affect the regulation. So I would say I can say that data privacy laws will definitely affect how AI as a tool will develop, but we will need to, as a society, create this framework of AI governance as well. And there is already a demand for that. And there are already even drafts and first policy briefs about that. And it's just an exciting time to follow and see what is happening.
Thank you. Marissa said, how would you think of training to disseminators to use this tool or these tools?
Training to disseminators? I'm not sure what Marissa do you mean by that?
Marissa will clarify the question, and in the meantime, we will have Afia's question here. Polina, taking the uninitiated like me, myself, into uncharted waters. Thank you very much for this. At least we know the potential positive uses as well as the pitfalls. Do you share links of resources for the newbies to bring themselves up to speed, please? Do you have any links?
Happy to share. Yes,
right.
Sure.
And let's see here, Marissa has now clarified communicators and journalists, like training for communicators and journalists. That's what you meant, Marissa, right?
Well, again, I'm afraid it's a little bit outside of my expertise.
Right.
But as far as I can see, the use of AI is very, very wide, and it's already widely used for natural language processing, right? So editing tools for sure. But it's important that whatever these tools are created, communication experts take part in creating these tools. It shouldn't be just IT people who create tools for environment. That's where problems start, right? There should be experts in this domain that contribute to creation of the tool, because the tool is nothing when it's just a tool. It should serve a purpose, and the risks must be mitigated, and the people who work in this thematic area are those who know the risk best, right? So I can't name you the tool, but I'm very much sure that communication experts should be the one to engage and provide feedback and participate in creation of such tools.
Thank you, and very wise. We should all do this together. We'll bring in different expertise, and we will have a very good tool at the end of it. Sanata says, is Environment GPT going to be open access?
Yeah, that's the plan. It's still under development. We are planning to test it, and as I said, it's the most important part about it is that it should be trusted, and some time to ensure that the information will be trustworthy, but definitely it will be a public good.
Right, thank you. I lost you there a little bit, but you said the main part is that it's going to be trusted and that you will...
It will be a public good. It will be available for everyone.
It will be a public good and available for everyone. Thank you. Maribel says, how do you address the huge energy consumption used in maintaining and mining big data?
This is a very good question. Thank you, Maribel. This is part of this green and responsible digitalization. That's when I mentioned that I'm not really talking about the risks caused by technologies and AI today, because it will be another 20 minutes. It's a very important topic. Mining of data, of big data, produces a lot of CO2 emissions, and actually it's comparable to the emissions produced by the Air Force airplane sector, 4%. It's a lot. One of important steps in that direction is to ensure that the servers that they use the renewable energy, that we can track and is connected to the digital circular economy as well, that we can track the production of the tool from the very beginning to the very end, and data processing is a part of it. And we should count the greenhouse gas emissions as well that come from the data and processing, from the cooling systems, right? These are the ones that consume the most amount of energy. At least ensure that the energy comes from renewable sources, but there are a lot of other ways to look at it, and there is this green digital infrastructure domain that is focused on that. Green digitalization work is also done in this field,
Right.
but it's a very important point. We should keep it in mind.
Yeah. There are quite a few more questions. We do take two more questions very quickly because we're running a little bit late because of the technical issues. And then maybe, Polina, if I copy the questions, send them to you on an email, could you be so kind and just answer them in writing, and I will send out all the answers to everyone, so no questions goes unanswered. Just one quick question from Usman here. In what ways can AI technologies assist in the early detection and prediction of water-related issues? You are not a water expert. You've already pointed that out. I don't know if you want to just refer that question to the water experts within UNEP, or what do you say? I can provide a quick answer on that one. Again, for more in-depth insights, I would recommend contacting people on water. AI can be used to analyze the data, the historical data that we already collected, and based on different characteristics that we collect about the water, about surrounding areas, it just can be used to create predictions. What are the risk areas, for example, in which conditions the water-related issues can occur, what causes them. It is more complicated subject when we talk about causality, because it's not as easy to say that because in the past this and this happened, and this will create, let's say, water pollution. We can't do that. We can't say that, but there are different AI technologies that can be used to analyze big amounts of data and provide recommendations, for example, which areas are prone to risk, and then they can be trained again and optimized and trained again, and then the result and prediction capacity will be increasing. It's mostly used by analyzing satellite data, but also chemical data collected in the water also could be used by these tools. Yeah, that's a short surface level answer. Yeah, but yeah. Thank you very much. And Stepova and Ryan and all the rest of you who have asked questions in the chat box, as we said, we will take a copy of those questions sent to Polina, and I will disseminate the answers to all of you in the workshop, and everyone also who will be watching the recorded version, because we will now have to move on to our next speakers. Thank you, Polina, for joining us. Thank you very much. And it's now time for us to fully focus on the upcoming World Water Week. And first of all, I'd like to share the link for those of you who have not registered to World Water Week, and remind you that registering to participate online is for free, and you will find the link in the chat box. And those of you who are journalists and would like a media accreditation, I'm sure Jakob is one of the guests from our team at SIWI. You will talk a little bit about that further along. So I would like to introduce to you our two guests from SIWI, Jakob Schabus, that I just mentioned, press manager at SIWI, and Susanne Halling-Duffy, head of partnership and external relations and acting director, World Water Week and Prizes. That's the longest title today so far. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry about that. It's
That's all right.
Happy to do that, though. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Right. Thanks for taking your time. And first of all, Susanne, I'd like to direct the first question to you. What do you think is the most important to know about this year's theme, Seeds of Change, Innovative Solution for a Water-Wise World?
Yeah, thank you so much. And first of all, thank you everyone for being on these, participating in these workshops. And we hope to see you at World Water Week next week, either on site in Stockholm or online, of course. So the theme, we talk about innovation, and we're really trying to look at a holistic picture of innovation. In certain areas, like in the Nordic countries, we mostly talk about technical innovation or technical solutions when we talk about innovation. But for this year's World Water Week, we're really looking at a holistic picture. So we're talking about social innovation, governance, systemic, and also social innovations as far as entrepreneurs, as well as the technical innovation. So really looking at a holistic. So we're looking at innovative solutions overall to the challenges for water governance and also management.
Thank you very much. And what is your best tip for a seminar or a session for participants who want to learn more about the theme, transformations, innovation?
Well, we have about 300 sessions, and that includes this year, we have some new sessions. So it includes talk show, we have on-site workshops, we have online showcases, which are shorter versions of shorter presentations, about 30 minutes. And we have film screenings this year, in addition to all the other sessions. So it's an array. So go into the program and look. That's my only tip really, is to look at the program, see what's interesting, but it should be something for everyone. And we are really focusing on having a more dynamic program this year, not just a one-way broadcast and the more traditional seminars that we have had much of in the past, but also more interaction as well. And of course, we want people to gain knowledge and foster understanding and make connections for future collaborations, hopefully.
Of course, thank you. One more question to you before I switch on to Jakob, because we basically just a few months ago, we had the big UN conference on water in March in New York. And what are the connections between, if there are any, what are the connections between the two conferences?
Sure. Well, we see the UN, well, World Water Week is an ongoing, it's an annual conference. And the UN Water Conference is, of course, the first in over 40 years to happen. But the UN Water Conference this year in New York laid a foundation for the water action agenda. We see World Water Week this year as a natural next step for people to come together and build on those agenda action items, and then look at what their commitments have been and how to move forward. So it's really a step in the right direction, and then also moving into COP28 this fall. So we're looking at it as moving the momentum forward.
Thank you. And Jakob, World Water Week is hybrid, as we mentioned. It's a hybrid conference, and participants can follow the seminar sessions online, on site. Those who participate online, can they, first of all, can they use the same platform as last year? Or do we have any?
Again, thanks so much for having me as well. It's been a big pleasure to listen in. And regarding your question, good that you asked. No, it's a different platform this year, which brings some differences. So it is very good to take a few minutes before the hustle and bustle of the conference starts and acquaintance yourself with the new platform. However, it is still quite straightforward. Once you register, you get the link, you go on that, and it takes you to it. And if something would remain unclear, there's a really good FAQ section, but there are some differences this year to the last one.
Right. And can you give us some tips for the most important features, perhaps, on this year's platform, and familiarize us just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I will just try to share my screen. I guess it's easiest by just showing. And so if I go on the personalized link that I receive when registering for the conference, I suppose a major thing we want from that platform is to show us which sessions are there and adding them to your personalized calendar. So you can do that when you click on program, and when you are on the program page, you have the opportunity to search the program for, say, for example, if I type here indigenous, if that is an interest of mine, you will see all the indigenous sessions at the conference, but you have an easy opportunity to click the plus here to add them to your calendar. Or if you say want to work more with your private calendar because you have loads of meetings scheduled during the conference, you can also just go here and add them to your private calendar. One more thing that I would like to highlight is that you can click here to also search for, say, you're interested in sessions that have translation into French or another language. And just two more things are, you have the waterfront map here. We are in a different venue this year. So even for those that were here last year, this is quite important. If you are running to a meeting, then it's always handy to have this at hand. And very last point from me, if you were wondering, you heard that, say, here we have the UN General Assembly President. If you were wondering if he's attending, you can always search for participants and speakers here, and then go back to the program to understand where they are, which sessions they are attending.
Thank you. Thank you for that crash course. Very useful, I think. We do have some prestigious prizes that are going to be awarded during World Water Week. And Susanne, we have the Stockholm Water Prize laureate, Andrea Rinaldo. He will be presented his award on Wednesday. And can you just tell us a little bit shortly, who is he, and tell us a little bit about him?
Of course, thank you. Yes, he is from Venice, Italy, which to him has been guided him into water. He calls himself a waterman, which is interesting to me. But and there was flooding in 1966 in Venice, and that set him on his life path. He is a professor of hydrology and water resources, lives in Switzerland, and we really look forward to honoring Professor Rinaldo at this year's World Water Week.
Thank you. And if one would like to go and look at any or listen to any sessions or seminars, I guess we can then explore the program as Jakob just showed us. But if you can give us a hint, Susanne, where can we listen to the laureates?
Yes, absolutely. He'll be on center stage during World Water Week. He'll be at SIWI Corner on Monday. He will celebrate the finalists of the Stockholm Junior Water Prize that I think Jakob may speak a little bit about later. On Tuesday, he will be at a Meet the Laureate, also on center stage, open for all, session on Wednesday. And then the Stockholm Water Prize ceremony at the Stockholm City Hall and Royal Banquet on Thursday. And then there are side events at different embassies and the Royal Academy of Sciences as well.
All right, thank you. You just mentioned the Junior Water Prize, Stockholm Junior Water Prize. It's an exciting prize, and it's always a lot of buzz around that prize. This year's finalists, Jakob, what can you tell us about them?
They have worked on and developed solutions to quite a wide range of challenges, and that can mean water scarcity challenges, that can mean reducing the water usage by the agricultural sector, but it can also refer to water pollution and, say, reducing microplastics out of water. So it's quite impressive how wide the range is, but something that I also personally think is very good for the prize is that the participation was very wide. So we had finalists from, or we have finalists from Kazakhstan, from the United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Switzerland, and so on. Just to highlight two out of many very interesting examples, one was from the Ukraine, a portable device for purification in emergencies. So this was all about the question, how do we provide water in times of emergencies, say conflicts or natural disasters? And the finalists here worked on developing a portable water treatment system, which does not require constant power supply. Another example, which I found really interesting, was from Benin, and that was a project that looked into how can we desalinate water, a question that is, or a challenge that is usually very energy intense if we try to desalinate ocean or sea water. And they have worked on a technique that is not energy or cost intense, and is able to desalinate salt water by 80%. So these are just two of the challenges which really address quite a wide range of topics.
Thank you. And do we know when we have a winner?
Yes, we don't know that yet, but we will know that just next week.
Right, thank you.
On Tuesday, the 22nd.
Is it Tuesday we have a winner?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So then we just wait for Tuesday to come and see which one of these very interesting innovations will take home the prize. Jakob, I was mentioning media accreditation for journalists. Everyone who's a journalist needs a media accreditation to attend. Is that correct?
That is correct. If you want to, particularly if you want to attend the conference on site, media can apply for a free accreditation. As you highlighted, online accreditation is for free. And journalists can apply for that. And we do also have an online media center. So this is also interesting just for organizations participating, that they do have the chance to say, if you publish a report, if you launch an initiative and you want to highlight that to media, then you have the chance to send that to me and send a PDF to me, and I will upload that on our online media center.
Right, thank you. And if I'm a journalist and I would like to get hold of any of the Junior Water Prize, maybe the Junior Water Prize winner, if I want to get hold of the laureate, do I also send an email to you?
Yeah. Same answer. We have interview slots scheduled for both the Junior Prize winners to be announced and the laureate of the Stockholm Water Prize. So if a journalist wants to schedule an interview with any of them, just reach out to me and we can see if we can find a time that works.
Right, thank you very much. And some more questions before you go and before I let everyone else in. Susanne, what do you look forward to the most?
I just love welcoming everyone to Stockholm. If you're able to join us in Stockholm, it's such a great event to have everyone there. I'm looking forward to connecting with people and then just learning more to see how we can build on this. And I'm also looking forward to online participation from around the world. And the online participation this year looks like we have a lot of new participants. So that's really, really exciting for us as well.
Thank you. And Jakob, what are you looking forward to?
I think it's two different things. One of them is we have, I'm quite interested in indigenous people's different focuses, and we have quite exciting sessions around that. So I'm very excited for that. And the other thing is really the Stockholm Junior Water Prize. I had other commitments last year, and then afterwards heard that that was an incredibly exciting session. So this year I will absolutely be there, and I'm very excited for it.
Great. We have one question here from Nancy that is, well, I don't agree that it's a boring logistic question. All questions are very relevant. But if we already have a media accreditation, Nancy says, do we have to go to a separate location to collect our badges?
No. No, it's the same. It's the same place. Just when you are there, you can at the entrance collect your accreditation.
Right. Any other questions to Susanne or Jakob regarding World Water Week, regarding logistics, or anything else that you would like to ask them before we let them go? There you are, Anne. Hello and welcome. Because before we go, I'd also like to remind all of you of the 3 water communications panels and some of the networking events that Grundfos is organizing. So perhaps, Anne, if you would like to say something about the networking events, and then I'm going to just finalize with the panel discussions that we do have on the Water and Communications program on Center Stage. But Anne, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne. I work closely with Jorel on the communication program from the foundation, and we will be at the World Water Week with a group of people. We also have a booth, and we're going to use that as a sort of a networking spot for you guys to come and join us. We'll be on level 4. The booth number is 403, so feel free to drop by and meet us there. We have also planned for 2 sort of networking sessions for those of you who are present. The first one is on Monday at 11 a.m. and that is basically an open show and tell. So we would love to hear what you have been doing with the knowledge, the learnings that you have gotten out of this program. So if you have a couple of slides or some time to come and tell us about it, drop by, and we have coffee and water, and we'd love to hear about that. So that's from 11 to 12 on the Monday. Then on the Wednesday, as a sort of a warm-up to the movie night, which is taking place on Wednesday evening, we have ordered a bunch of drinks, and we hope that you will join us and help us empty the bottles at 5 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. And so we'll be there until around 5:45, where the movie night session starts in the center stage area. And you are allowed to bring your drinks into the center stage area as well. So drop by and grab a drink and a pretzel and have a chat and use this as a sort of a meetup before this film screening session starts at the center stage area. So that's, I think, basically it.
Thank you, Anne. Thanks for joining the program as well. And as you said, as Anne just said, the drinks are going to be served before the movie. In the previous invitation, we said it was going to be after the movie. Forget about that. It's before the movie starts. We will have this networking session on the Wednesday. And then if you are, which I hope, still interested in more communications and water, we are having 3 panel discussions on center stage. All of them are going to be very interesting, I think. It's on Tuesday, the 22nd at 11 o'clock. We start with communications in transformation. And then on August 23, at 2:45, we have Young Voices from the Global South. We bring in 3 young people who are water professionals before they are young. So water professionals from the Global South who are going to talk to us and bring their message to the table. And then we are ending up at August 24, also 2:45, with the importance of strategic communication to drive change in water. And one of our workshop participants, Marissa, will also be part of that conversation. We're very much looking forward to having you there in that center stage discussion. Yes, Sophia, you raised your hand there. You may unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to, because they have such a wealth of knowledge and resources. So instead of bombarding you with questions that can they share this link, that link, if we follow them on Twitter, we'll be able to follow their work. We'll be able to follow whatever they, share with everybody else. So
right, sure. I'll see what I can do about that. Thanks for that remark. Thank you. Thank you for this year's Water and Communications program. Thank you for participating, listening, asking questions, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you both on site and online during World Water Week. Come by the Grundfos stand so that we have time to meet those of you who are in Stockholm, and for those of you who attend online, I'll see you there. And I'm wishing you all a very interesting and fun and inspiring week. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.